So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another interesting episode of the crazy week that was with Barrister Neze. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Wiring. Who is this electrician that is doing all this wiring? Are you sure that we wouldn't just look for this electrician and just tie him first and keep him in one corner so we can understand what is happening? What is it with all of this wiring? I mean, now a quick response to a lot of things, especially when one does not want to take responsibility for something, or maybe just when one doesn't just want to own up to his or her own shit. The person would say, I am wired that way. Men are wired that way. Women are wired that way. Who wired you? So before we come together to agree what to do to this electrician that is wiring everybody like this, let us first listen to this short clip by Nigerian music legend and icon Tuface Idibia.
Men are wired like that. A man would love a woman to hell. He's somewhere.
Yeah.
His dick will just decide something. He will fuck.
Even if he's married.
But he will fuck about that person.
Yeah, you're talking about generally or you're talking about yourself. That's what
Is
you're
this
trying
what
to. Or is that you or is that belief?
So Uncle Innocent does not need any introduction. He is a super humble, highly talented and mega accomplished Nigerian musician. He is married to actress Annie Idibia, his long-term sweetheart that started with him back in the days from the grassroots up together. And they have 2 kids together, Olivia and Isabel. Now that's sweet, right? Right. But wait. In the course of Annie and Tuface's relationship, Tuface went ahead to father 5 more children with 2 different women, aside Annie, thus making him a father of 7 from 3 different women. Okay, it gets more interesting. So in this clip from reality TV show Young African and Famous, or is it Young Famous and African, Tuface was explaining in the presence of his wife Annie that the bulala, the koboko, the automatic machine rifle has a mind, soul, and spirit of its own. Hello, according to Tuface Idibia, what he is trying to say is that the machine gun is not controlled by its owner, as it is 1000% possible for a man to be crazy, stupid, madly, dangerously in love with his wife and still sleep with several different random women. And even if the man is not willing, the machine gun might be willing, and the man will have no other option but to obey the command of the machine gun. I mean, when arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call must be obeyed. Now, a lot of people have come for Tuface, describing him as irresponsible, a man with no self-control, a man with no sexual discipline. I mean, a wayward man trying so hard to justify his indiscretion. They believe that choice and will is one powerful tool that God has bestowed upon man. God has given man the freedom and ability to make a choice, whether good choice or bad choice, and of course face the eventuality of either benefiting from a good choice or suffering the detriments of a bad choice. Is as simple as that. They argue that even children are faced with temptation and choice making every day. Am I going to pick this sweet or not? Am I going to do what my mother told me to do or not? Am I going to tell a lie or not? Am I going to do this or not? It is a normal course of life. It's not gender-based. And many times we see little children make the right choice. Not to talk about an elder like this, a full-fledged adult with armpit hair, still making it appear as though the strength of his private parts is more compelling than the power of his will. They condemned every single thing that Tuface said, saying that he is justifying promiscuity and irresponsibility under the guise of wired. Uncle, which electrician were you? What was a lot more painful for these guys, like what got them super infuriated, was that Tuface was saying all of this in the presence of his wife, a woman who his behavior has brought so much pain and emotional stress upon. You guys know the story. They were like, you know how Annie comes to social media to cry all the time. Tuface is hurting me. Tuface is killing me. I am done. I am packing out. I can't take this no more. Annie is always acting hysterical, acting like someone is on the brink of madness just because of Tuface and his lifestyle. Some people even left Mata for Matthias and started seeing something else. So started saying that, look at Annie, she's even looking older than her age, she's even looking older than her husband, just because of what Tuface is doing to her, stressing her, giving her a life of trouble. So to cut the long story short, this set of people who consisted more of women were a lot disappointed in Tuface's school of thought and strongly berated him for justifying irresponsibility and by adding insult to injury by spilling what they described as bullshit in front of his wife. And just because this woman loves him with all her heart, body, soul, spirit and mind, he is taking undue advantage of her feelings.
You know how she loves you.
I think I do. I think I feel it.
Like she would burn herself to keep you.
It's scary sometimes. Like,
Psycho. It's crazy.
she's always shown how much she loves me. She shows it more than I do.
So what did the other set of people have to say? These other set of people, who I must admit consist more of men. These other set of people were just sitting and smiling, watching patiently as the other set of people were raving, ranting, scampering and getting angry, fuming. They were just watching them. They were like, when you finish shouting, raving and ranting, you will calm down, come back to reality and understand what Tuface Idibia is driving at. They strongly believe that what Tuface said was the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. According to these guys, they stand with Tuface, explaining that sex for men is nothing but physical, no emotions attached, hence making it possible for a man to love his wife tooth and nail, head to toe, flaws and all, and still go out there, meet a random girl at the bar at an out-of-station trip or business meeting or whatever, and bed her with no shred of emotions, no connections whatsoever, and then go back to the love of his life, his wife. That is the way men are wired, according to this set of people. They argue further that men are indeed wired to cheat because men are influenced and moved by what they see, but women are not. So we can choose to look deeply and see the facts and points that Tuface is driving at, or we can choose to remain on our high horse and pretend like what he's talking about is not the reality. So they said, So panel of judges, how are we going to solve this one now? Both parties have presented very strong, compelling arguments, and they have solid points to back up their claims. So what do you think, guys? There is no right or wrong answer. I want us to be 1000% honest. Forget about what is socially correct, what is morally right, or what you would rather for yourself. Forget all about that. Tell us from the bottom of your heart what you think about this idea, this concept that men are wired to cheat and a man can love his wife and love his woman to the moon and back and still have sexual intercourse with random women who he shares no emotional connection with. What do you think about this juxtaposition? What do you think about this position that men have been trying to drive for centuries and decades? Do you think the plywood has a mind of its own? Do you think the kanda has no respect whatsoever for its owner and can go far away on a frolic of its own? Do you think that it is totally possible for a man to love his wife or his woman to the moon and back and keep cheating repeatedly, consistently, unabashedly on her, having children everywhere? Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Well, Annie Idibia has now come out to address people bashing her husband and her marriage. Let us hear what she has to say.
Stop. Keep my marriage a break. Hope you're not praying that something is wrong with my marriage. Want me to tell you, oh, innocent, messed up.
Innocent has kids with 2 women, just 2. 2 other women with the 5 kids. It's not like the young man was having big mouths.
Hey, hey. Oh, lo. Oh my God. This case just reminds me of, where 2 people are fighting and you boasting with your big chest. You come like a knight in shining armor. You carry your 2 left legs to go and fight for somebody. And why did you beat her? Why did you touch her? Hey, Jet Li, Bruce Lee, Hercules, you go there to fight. Only for the other person to turn around and face you and say, Oga, who sent you? Did I ask you? Did I beg you? Who brought you inside this matter now? Who told you to choke your mouth here? This is exactly what Auntie Anne has done to online liberators and online in-laws. Auntie Anne has fallen their hand. So, and Idibia said, let me ask you people, oh, I'm not the one asking you. She said, I'm just a mouthpiece, I'm just a messenger. Auntie Annie Idibia has told me to ask you that her husband has only 7 children with 3 different women. So why are people making it seem like he's having children everywhere? Answer. So that is how cold just caught online in-laws. They just shit their swords, shoulders slumped, and they went home in shame and embarrassment. So the next time you feel the need to sympathize or advise or fight for Annie Idibia, please ferme la bouche and just say a prayer for her in your mind. Thank you. So on to the next one, our next story on the crazy week that was with Barrister Neze. Oh, in this life, you reap what you sow. It has happened. And if you are still there sitting wondering, Neze, which song is this one again? You have come, oh, what are you singing about? What is the matter? Or you are listening to this video first before we start.
I want to sit down to say this one. Since my husband brought me to the UK, I am no longer in love with him. Since my husband brought me to the UK, I am no longer in love with him. I knew him when we were in Nigeria. He asked me to go and start a nursing school in Nigeria. So I started. I finished. Though he was not the only one that paid my school fees, he was also assisting me and my parents too. So he now traveled to the UK. So now, to cut the long story short, he came now to come and pick me. He did the necessary document from Nigeria to the UK. So I came. I did 1 year again in the university in the UK. Now I have just started working. But I don't love my husband. I don't love him. I am no longer in love with him. And I don't know what to do. I called him. He also noticed it, that I am so cold. I am not faking it. I am not faking it at all. I don't find any attraction in him anymore. I am not in love with him. Now he's thinking because he has brought me to the UK, that is the reason why I am no longer in love with him. I don't want to deceive him. I don't want to continue the relationship that I am not in love. My heart is cold towards him. I am explaining to him he don't want to understand me. I now told him that I want to come and say it on Facebook, so that he too will be here to read the advice that they will give to him and to me. They says a broken relationship or a broken friendship, I don't know how they say it, is better than a broken marriage. Though we are married, but for now we don't have children.
So in the crazy week that was, we saw this auntie who took to social media, Facebook in particular, to reveal that she has fallen out of love with her husband. As in, she doesn't feel a thing for him since he brought her to the UK. First and foremost, I don't know why Auntie Equitos, that is not her name, but she looks like somebody that can answer that name. So for the purpose of this video and this content, we're going to refer to her as Auntie Equitos or Equi. Good. So I don't know why Auntie Equi took her marriage matter to social media, to Facebook in particular. Is she expecting that Gen Z, Indomie generation, and pandemic babies are in the best position to give her marital advice and counseling? I mean, doesn't she have family, parents, uncle, aunties, pastor, spiritual leader, or whatever, whoever in the world that she can get proper counseling from? She took it to Facebook. So Auntie Equitos was in Nigeria, and you heard from her mouth. She said it by herself that her husband part-financed her education as a nurse. She is a professional and qualified nurse. Not nurse, say Lisa. Not madam, mix yellow and red for me. Not choke me one injection and say nurse. No. Qualified nurse, went to nursing school. After studying and graduating as a nurse, her husband processed her papers, all of her travel documents, to ensure that she comes in legally as an immigrant into the United Kingdom. And now that Auntie Equitos has jackpot, now that Auntie Equitos has migrated, has spotted to the United Kingdom, the scale has fallen off her eyes. Her oju has opened, and she's now saying that she is no longer in love with her husband. She doesn't feel a thing. She is this. She cannot pretend. Her heart has turned cold. And people are like, Auntie, cold kill you, dear. Oh, ye bogi, dear. You mean when this man was seeing you through school, your heart was warm? When he was sending you money, Kwanu, your spirit was hot. When he was processing your papers to travel, your soul was on fire. And now that you are in the UK, your heart has suddenly turned cold. Cold, Ikbogi, dear. Chai! Auntie Equitos. There is God, oh. There is God in everything we do. Ah. So at what point did you realize that you no longer loved your husband? You didn't realize when you were in Nigeria. It's now you realize. Ah, Auntie, fear God. Fear God. So a lot of people are not buying this lady's explanation at all. They have taken their full anger to bash her on social media. In fact, a lot of people have alleged that she has started seeing another man, she's sleeping around, she's cheating on her husband, she's this, she's that. Some have even said, oh, that this is how these Nigerian nurses behave. When they come to the UK, they begin to see their man as lower than, less than, not up to their status. That man that they were worshiping in Nigeria now becomes, he no longer fits their profile. Then they start coming up with different excuses to exit the marriage. They insist that she's just an opportunist who took advantage of the poor man, and now that she has achieved her aim, she is looking for a cheap and silly reason to dump him. But for some others, I call them the benefit of doubters. They give Auntie Equitos a benefit of doubt. They claim that it is very possible that this lady thought that she loved her husband. Maybe it was one of those marriages where the man just comes, marries the woman, leaves her in Nigeria, and travels back. There was no relationship, no cohabitation, no intimacy, no getting to know each other properly. And now that she has gone and they have started cohabiting as man and wife, you know, spending every day together, knowing themselves more. Of course, phone love and phone marriage is different from real life interaction, day-to-day love, day-to-day living together. Dealing with real issues, proper face-to-face conversations is very different from, honey, I love you on video call. Honey, have you eaten? That one is different. So they believe that maybe this woman has come over and experienced the man face to face and realized that he's not really what she wants for herself. So they say. They're content that her emotions are valid and people fall in and out of love, and that marriage should never be endured or stayed in as some form of reward, as that will no longer be marriage but become bondage, living in bondage. They commend her courage for coming out with her truth, and perhaps with the good counsel and advice that she's seeking, maybe in the wrong place, she might eventually find a solution on how to trigger that spark in the marriage and, you know, get her and her husband back together. So what do you think about this situation? This happens one too many times though. You know, when men come to Nigeria and marry second wives, we used to finish them. Jetly, we pieces them, roast them, fry them, and air dry them. Now that is our own woman. See what she has done. What do you think about this situation? Do you think that there's actually truth in it? It's possible that this woman has fallen in love with her husband. She didn't mean it this way, and she can't spend the rest of her life managing because of what people will say. Or do you think that this was the whole plan? This was the blueprint all along. This woman just played this man, took advantage of him, and used him to move overseas. Let me know your thoughts about this particular situation where this woman has been financed by her husband, trained in school, and now she's in the UK. She feels nothing for him. She has lost love for him. Do you think that she should remain there and try to see how she can manage? After all, this man didn't do anything wrong. She shouldn't hurt him like this. Or do you think that life is bigger than that? She cannot spend her whole life with a man she does not love just because of he did her a favor by bringing her overseas. Let me know your thoughts and your comments, contributions in the comment section. So guys, we have finally come to the end of today's beautiful episode of the crazy week that was with Barrister Neze. I'm going to leave the link to Tuface and Idibia's full documentary that I did sometime back on my channel. I'm going to leave that link in the description box so you can go back and check up on it. If you're yet to subscribe, if you've been watching me and you're yet to subscribe, do hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop your comments, advice, contributions in the comment section, which of these stories you want to contribute to, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. If you're also yet to subscribe to my personal channel, Neze Peperempe, where we talk about my lifestyle, my family, my job, my career, my everything, I'm going to leave the link also in the description box or in the comment section. Join me there as well and be a full-blooded Nezevilian. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'm going to see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.